On my way to Mohawk with the Frederick. We're going to go watch the big Fred and I. We're going to go watch Will to Win Hanover. We're going to have a quick stopover, and then we'll be at Mohawk. I want to watch Will to Win Hanover. I want to watch Ty One On. And it dawned on me this afternoon. You know, my year is jam-packed. You guys know that. And I like it that way. So my year consists of buy the horses at the sale. So you're in sale season. You're dialed into sale season. Get the horses bought, get them home, get them broke, get them sold. This year was pretty cool in that regard, where most of the horses were sold before we got home. I really, as I said, and I'll say that as we get closer anyway to sale season, I much rather that way. It took a lot of stress off me, and I truly appreciate what people allowed me to do last year. I never want that to go unchecked. Anyway, get to the sale, buy the horses, get them broke, get them trained down. Then staking season. I'm super stressed in staking season because I got to get all the money in, got to pay. This is the last month, but still a fairly significant amount to pay on the 15th. So it goes without saying, for those of you out there saying, I'll get that check out. Yeah, get that check out if you don't mind. May 15th is, I think, our last staking deadline this year. The amount of money that we paid out for stake races this year is ungodly. Truly, I truly hope we have a big year. Not to validate what we paid them into, just because the horses we bought, you can see it in everything we do. The amount of money we spent at the sale, buying the aged horses, you can really see how we changed our model. And you know, some people have messaged me throughout the year and said they thought it was for the worse. You know, they thought that we are getting away from own a little, love it a lot. That's not the case at all. We still own a little. We still love it a lot. We're just understanding, because that's the best way to put this. If you're in this game, if you're out there and you're a horseman, or you've been in horse racing for years, decades, you see the shift, the transformational shift in the way this industry operates over the last, well, even in the last 5 years. Even since the pandemic came, the way the industry operates is different, right? When I was 20 years ago, when I had a stable of horses, we had more racetracks to race at in Ontario. Your horse couldn't do at Mohawk. You had Flamborough, London, Woodstock, Sarnia, Windsor, Kawartha Downs, Georgian Downs, Sudbury if you really wanted to, but there was a group of horsemen in Sudbury if you wanted to send a horse. Then you obviously had Ottawa. Just a ton of tracks. You could always get raced. But now, Mohawk, London, Flamborough in the winter. We had to expand that to suit what we're trying to do. So we have affiliate trainers that we work with in the Meadows. We have our own stable we kept at Northfield Park. We have horses we can send to Plainridge. Right? Horses we can send to Yonkers, Freehold. We've expanded our net, so to speak. The way that we can operate is totally different now in horse racing. Reminiscent of the way it used to be here in Ontario, but different, right? Different classes, different pools of trainers, drivers, horses. It's very, very interesting, but it is complicated and it's hard to do. So we're left trying to buy the best horses that fit anywhere in North America. Last week, we purchased a horse named Frosty Trouble. 3-year-old Ohio colt, obviously staying in Ohio. A lot of people asked why we buy that horse. We were selling horses like him on paper. Now, I knew the horse, roughly. You guys knew that I had bid on him at the sale, didn't get him. And I thought that he was an interesting proposition, coming from a barn that has a bigger barn. Like, these are the people that have Charlie May. We bought Charlie. Jason trained him this week. We made some changes. Had the vet look at him. He said he liked him. And Jason doesn't just say, you know, if Jason trains a horse and he's okay, say, yeah, he's okay. He's not getting too excited. He said, I really like this horse. Bought another horse in Purlucky, an open trotter. Somebody said, well, why would you buy a 7-year-old open trotter off Ron Burke? I can tell you why. It's a good horse. You can't find horses like Purlucky anywhere. We have a horse named Yes, right? We bought a horse named Kings County. Locatelli, White Tigers here. We're going to continue to have quality animals. And as I said the night before in the video, before we bought him, that's what he was worth. So I'm left accumulating horses at the same time selling horses that I just don't think are going to be effective for the stable. It's not an easy river to sail down sometimes, but at the same token, again, it's my job and I like it. A lot of updates this week I didn't get to. We've gone till 8 o'clock at night. I haven't told anybody that Yes qualified, how good he qualified. It was fantastic, Jason said. Track was deep, 57, earplugs in, great mile. Now what do we do with him? I'm going to leave the choice to Jason. One of them's probably going to go race at the Meadows next week, and one of them is going to race at Northfield Park. We're not racing them both in the Open. Now, if the race secretary can find a way to get them in, one in the Open 2, great. But we're not racing them both in the Open. Can't go to Scioto. Well, hopefully, Kings County is in Scioto. So, we will, again, lots of places to race these horses, though. We have a ton of horses here. Stay Close wasn't great the other day. I didn't really bring everybody the full update on Stay Close. Stay Close is not a Lasix horse that did bleed a little bit. But he had a lot going on, right? Jason had trained him really hard 5 days out. He had a quarter crack that was bothering him. We're having the blacksmith fix it tomorrow. I'm going to school him Monday and see how he is. Now I'm going to school him on Lasix. If he schools good, comfortable, great on Lasix, probably going to race him that way. Pretty easy. But I can't really make that decision until Monday, right? We have Procrastinator, raced in the grassroots, the Buckeye, got beat up pretty good, scoped him after, he was sick. Paced 52-4 the week before. In a maiden at Miami Valley. Well, I just watched the maiden at Mohawk going 55-2 the other night, and they didn't look super special. So it's pretty simple. Bring him back here. Put him in the maiden here. We have the ability to do that. So Procrastinator is going to race next Thursday night at Mohawk. Now, I'm gone away for a week. My wife is about to be very, very tired all summer. We have Oliver in baseball. We are going to be racing everywhere. In previous years, we were exhausted because we have Kentucky, or we have Pennsylvania and Ohio. Once in a while, I would venture into New Jersey or New York if I had to, but not really that much. And I won't this year either. But we have Kentucky this year. And not Kentucky of previous years where it's Grand Circuit where you can slide down. No. Oak Grove has a full grouping of horses. You may see Dominic Gladue slide down to Oak Grove with about 10 horses come 1st of June. So that is on my radar also. I don't mind being busy, but I do mind my wife getting tired. So I'm going to take Ava and we're going to go on the road a little bit for most of the summer, which should be fun for her. But my wife's about to get really tired. So next week, I'm going to have a little break for a week with Amy. Just catch our breath, recharge our batteries, because we're going to need them all summer long. So I'm not going to be in Ohio or Pennsylvania next week. We have Per Lucky's going to be starting. Yes is going to be starting. Frosty Trouble may be qualifying. Slim Jimmy will be racing. Jason told me. For those of you, again, another update. Slim Jimmy will be racing in Scioto Downs. There's a series for horses that... horses that raced or were entered in the Buckeye. Remember, we entered him in the Buckeye. Scratched him, but he was entered. So he should fit the series. Sweet on Pete, that little break at the wire, I didn't get to go with her, right? Plane was held up, and I didn't get a chance to go with Sweet on Pete. Little tiny splint found on her today. Very telling. So that's good. Purple Aura, 1-2 skip a few. They fit the maiden series that's starting in Scioto. So Jason's got some runs to Scioto next week also. I brought Gemstone Ruby Rose home. She's interfering. She's hitting that left hind leg. I took the boots off her. She put about 5 or 6 cuts on that left hind shin. Little ones. They were there. Went a mile and got up to the quarter. Had to nurse her over to the quarter at Mohawk because she was interfering. Nursed her over to the quarter in 33 seconds. Put her in gear down the backstretch. Let her trot in the last turn a little bit. 1 mile and 2-2-2. Last 3 quarters 129. This filly's got some pop. I'll get her straightened away. There's no two ways about that. But I didn't put her in for Monday. Took Grace out of Monday. As you know, for those of you who may have following the videos, Grace got a little colicky last Saturday, and Cindy and Shane stayed the entire night of Saturday with the filly. Took her blood, and there was some reminiscent signs of colic, of a little distress there, as you can imagine. And moreover than that, got to pay attention to the horse. They'll tell you what's going on. I watched her on the track the last 2 days. Cindy came to me and said she feels better today, but she's still very dead, very flat. So maybe throw a little training into her Saturday morning. throw a tiny bit of training into Grace. We're not going to be super busy Saturday because we're going to be prepping for they're going to be prepping for the open house. I'm going to be flying to New Jersey. I'm going to train Grace a little bit on Saturday. Hopefully, our hope is we'll take her blood on Monday morning, first thing. Draws at 10:30. If her blood comes back good, which I don't know if it will or it won't, maybe a week from Monday, we might throw a schooler or a training session, a hard training session into her on Wednesday and opt for Monday. But that'll be up to Grace. The good news is there's nothing in her blood that is concerning. You know, you guys know by now, you've been around, we've tried to explain things. Muscle counts, bleeding, liver counts, these are things that'll hold the horses back and really show poor performances. None of those indicators were high, so she should be fine. Unbeatable Kemp races tomorrow in New Jersey. Blue Bayou Dio didn't go, and thank God she didn't go because she ended up sick. Now, she felt better on the track today. I saw her bouncing around a bit. To be fair to her and everybody else, we'll give her a chance. We're going to draw her blood tomorrow morning, but I would say there's a pretty good chance, better than good chance, she'll be scratched tomorrow night. You all right there, Fred?
Yeah.
She'll be scratched tomorrow night.
Yeah.
She'll be scratched tomorrow night at Mohawk. Got to be fair to the horse. This filly's got a long summer ahead of her, and much like the reason we kept the reason we kept Taiwan on out of Philadelphia is the same reason we're likely not going to race Blue Bayou Dio tomorrow night. Want to be fair to the horse. Long year, talented fillies. Absolutely no reason whatsoever to put them in harm's way. None. World for Two races on Saturday. I see he's 4-1 in a Stallion Series event. Horse looks good. Good looking colt. Scott Zeron is going to drive him. I talked to Scotty about Taiwan on last night, and again about the colt in question. I'll reiterate it to him Friday. Listen, there is no horse. Very few horses around can leave with this horse. For a big moose of an animal, he can get out of the gate like a thoroughbred, and put him wherever you want. You can race him. He's better covered up. Leave, sit, finish, rinse, repeat. That's kind of it for World for Two. So excited to see him race also. And then we have the horses in the sale. 4 horses remain in the sale. We sold Del Breeze the other day, and we sold Confederate Cruiser. Both of them are gone. They're not with us now. We have 4 horses left in the sale. Little re-breakdown for everybody. Royston's Punch is selling. I suspect he'll bring somewhere between 17 and 20,000, I would imagine. Somebody said to me the other day, well, if he's injured, how would he possibly bring that? Well, he trotted 54-2 a month ago. He's got a minor tear in his left hind suspensory. It may be very much healed by the time he goes through the ring. Somebody wants to take the time to rehab him. Got yourself a real good trotter. It's just not what we're going to do. Of Tom, as I said to one of our clients, I suspect she'll bring 22,000. Nice filly, just not to where we need her to be. Right? I gave them a chance. You guys know that. 1-2, skip a few, jumped right through the classes, and looks good now. If I get out a little earlier last week, she's a winner. Of Tom just didn't really have a lot of fire in her belly, but a nice filly nonetheless. And then you look at Isa 10. As I said to my wife, you guys know I love my wife to death, and she loves Isa 10. I said, honey, she's just not fast. She's not a fast horse. So I'll tell you what I'll do. Because she is Lawmaker's brother, because she is bred well, because she's a nice filly, her breeding is deep. Tell you what we'll do. I'm going to set a hard line. At 19,000, we retain her and breed her. I'm not racing her. At 20,000, she's sold. Is there anybody out there looking for a nice filly? I can tell you right now, we rarely do this. There's no reserves on the other horses. There will be on Isa 10. It will take $20,000 minimum to buy Isa 10. It's just the way it is. So I think she's worth it. She could turn into be a nice trotting filly. She's paid into 2 conferences, fair conferences. She gets around a little track. She'll be a useful horse for anybody. For us, the only route we're taking with Isa 10 is to breed her. 100% sound, she's never racing again for us. She's not fast enough, in my opinion. I don't mind racing horses in the fairs to keep them tight as they race in the Buckeye or the Sire Stakes. But for us just to simply retain a horse we know is only fair material makes no sense. So Isa 10 at 19,000 will be bred. And I'll tell you right now, I'm leaning towards international money. If we can secure a breeding to him and get her in foal quick enough. 2 very important things. And then Del Cash raced last night at Northfield Park. Just a horse. Again, what are we going to do? We're just going to race a run-of-the-mill horse in Indiana somehow, or race him around Ohio. Just not a good fit for us. A better fit for a smaller operation that maybe races in Indiana. This is an Indiana-bred 3-year-old pacing colt. if you're out there, a lot of people watch these videos. If you're out there and you watch these videos, we are selling a 100% Indiana-bred Aircash Hanover colt. Great attitude, does everything right. I think he paced what? I don't even know. I'd be guessing 57, 58, something like that the other day. Qualified in 57 the week before. Probably paced 54, 55 right now in Indiana, I suspect. He's a big colt to be racing at Northfield Park. He's in the sale. So those 4 horses will be selling next week. I don't have to tell you guys why. And we'll continue to. This is the model that has worked for us. We have had a fantastic year in 2022, and it was precluded by 2021, which is an incredible year also. We're looking to have a banner year in 2022, and we're going to continue to expand on what has worked. And this has worked very, very well for us. So, a number of updates there. I apologize. Some of them, the Taiwan on, I felt like a jerk today. I wanted to make that video and explain what we were doing, and I didn't get the video done in time. The draw was done, and people are the worst thing in the world I hate is when something happens, and I could have headed it off in the past. Said, okay, we're not going to take Taiwan on this, much like we did with Slim Jimmy, much like we did with Sweet on Pete and Purple Aura. Very similar situation. I don't want to gut them at the start of the year. And Scott's thinking was exactly, almost verbatim, what I'd said. If they need 4 divisions to make the final, probably not the best horses in the final. I think Taiwan on. And this gives us an opportunity to take a look at the setting in Pennsylvania. How do those fillies look? They're no slouches. I don't care if there's 13 of them or 4 of them. They can fly. If they go out and go 53 in Philadelphia, 54, you know what? We're going to use that next start at Mohawk right here. Going 53, 54 here. Then shipper 5 little hours down to the Meadows when it's 6 from the East Coast. So they're theoretically coming into our backyard to race on the 21st. So this is a much better opportunity and a much better way to go about it. But again, video should have been made last night, not today. So my apologies on that. Just so many things going on right now. I apologize if I missed something. You know, please don't feel bad. Don't feel bad in the least to send me a message. Send me an email and say, hey, Anthony, what's going on with this horse? What's going on with that horse? You know, just because it's rattling around in my head doesn't mean that it gets to you sometimes. And that's on me. But this year is this time of year is tough, right? I'm focusing on all the babies, the open house, trying to get everything done. Man, they were good today. The last training trips for most of them were today. We went with 40 horses today, I think. Maybe 38 or 40. I trained all the other horses myself this week. Trained them, tightened them up real good. I wanted to know what they were. I want to see where they're going. This is the time of year. Yes, some of them you can't tell before you get behind the gate, but some of them you can. And I was super happy with what I saw. A couple of standouts to me were, I guess it's not fair because I'm going to miss some, and I didn't go with them all, right? James went with some. Amy went with Brace for Landing today. He was very, very good. Changes we made on him, she said, oh, different horses. Brace for Landing was great. Obviously, as I just said, Spitfire Overseas. A number of the Ohio trotting fillies I went with this week. It's going to be fun on Sunday. A lot of fun. I'm going to actually try and bribe the guys when I go to Mohawk, the starting gate guys, to see if they can bring the starting gate out for us on Sunday afternoon. Sunday morning. That would be incredible. So it should be a lot of fun. If you want to come out, let me know. It's going to be a lot of fun for the stable.ca, a lot of fun for our clients, and a long time coming. It's been 2 years since I got to see many of you, so regardless, I'm going to see you Friday night if you're in town. I'm going to see you Saturday night. Worst case scenario, I will be at Mohawk at 9:15. Best case scenario, I'm there at 7 o'clock. So with that, I think I got everything updated. I might have missed a few. Got Ohio done. Oh, Indiana, massive profits break last night. You guys know what happened. He just got to the rail. He got to the gate too early with the rail, touched the gate, and he made a break. It'll happen with trotters. That trotter, not that easy to get him to run. That'll do it sometimes, though. So I guess Mike Oosting, if he's going to be the full-time driver, you have to know what you can do and can't do. Now you know you can't do that. Not a very timely break. I know we had a lot of people looking at him after we turned down the money for him last week. But that's the way it always is, right? So that's Indiana. Mo Power Baby, talking about Indiana, trained great today. Very impressed with her. And a horse that trained very good this week I was impressed with was Oh My Gosh. Now, I don't think he'll be ready for the first part of the summer. I'm going to say mid to end July. But, man, he looked good training this week. The New Jersey breds look good. Pennsylvania looks very, very strong. I've been in contact. Obviously, not only did I buy Per Lucky off of Ron Burke, but previously to that, the week before, I talked to him about taking a couple of the horses this summer. I think a horse like Carter Michael Dio, and I'll expand on that. And I'll talk to Ronnie about that. But Carter Michael Dio, I would love to see Spitfire Overseas and Horn Player potentially end up in the care of Ron Burke. These are big, strong horses right in his wheelhouse. These are the types of horses he likes. And, man, they look some good today. So I don't want to keep rambling on. I wanted to make sure as I drove down the road, and this was fresh in my memory, that I got a chance to update everybody on a few odds and ends that we're trying to take care of. As I said, Procrastinator here next Thursday. Slim Jimmy next Thursday at Scioto. He'll be racing. Purple Aura and 1-2 Skip if you fit a series down there. Sweet on Pete. Kurt Sugg said he would qualify for us next Thursday. Now, I want to keep an eye on that splint. Is that going to be a problem? I left it up to the vet. Do you want to inject it? Do you want to shock it? Do you want to cryo it? That will be up to the veterinarian. That's his discretion come this week. So we found out what was up with her. I would say 100% that is up with her. Think about it. End of the mile, one little new, fresh ache and pain that might be there, maybe cause her to break it. 1 and 1 equals 2 when it comes to that. So, as I said, you guys are updated now. Everything going on. No. New York will be in next week. Stonebridge Simba and our boy Patrick DePrano. Just so much going on. As you can see, just things floating around and rattling around in my empty head. But I do want to bring them to you as I think of them. I wrote them down. I know. Now you know. So now you're all updated. I'll talk to you all very soon. Come to Ontario on Sunday. It should be a lot of fun at Mohawk for the open house. Take care, everybody.